Hello, and welcome to Songbird Knits, a podcast all about handcrafted things and the stories and people behind them. My name is Lisbeth, also known as Songbird News on Instagram and Ravelry, and I hope you'll find me on those platforms so I can get to know you better. So let's get acquainted. This podcast is coming forth from four main desires that I have. The first being just a record of all the things that I make. I realized recently how much I rely on Instagram and Ravelry and Facebook to remind myself about the stuff I've made and when I made it and what was going on in my life when I made it. And even then, I don't always know, I don't remember. So I kind of wanted to have like a video diary of sorts of these things that I'm making and what I'm thinking and feeling at the time, because I'm a huge history buff. And I feel like this in some ways is like oral history for me. I'll get into that later. Anyhow, next is a learning and also along with that community. I love the knitting community, the fiber arts community. Oh, you all are so wonderful and so much fun. And I just want to be more involved. And I'm a fairly young knitter or newer knitter. My first fiber art craft thing is crochet. I started when I was 7, I think, and I've done that most of my life, and I was never really interested in getting into knitting, but about 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years on January 22nd, so I'm going to have like a little party or something, celebrate my 2-year anniversary of knitting. I just decided I was going to learn how to knit because for two reasons. One, because I love American Girls, and Molly used to knit socks for the troops, and that was just always inspired me so much. And crochet socks are just not quite, I don't know, they can be cute but not really and then the other bigger reason is I had told myself that before I become a grandma, I need to know how to knit sweaters for my grandkids so that I can embarrass them. So those were my two big thrusts into learning how to knit, and I had no idea I was going to become so obsessed. And quite frankly, right at the beginning, I didn't know if I was even going to stick around long enough to ever knit a sweater, and now I'm just in love. And I get obsessed with things quite frequently, but typically it pitters out rather quickly, and this is stuck, and I think my husband's concerned. And then the fourth reason, it kind of goes along with the learning community, is I feel this debt of gratitude to the women in my life who have taught me my crafting skills, be it sewing, cross stitch, crochet, knitting, and other such felting, things like that. I feel a great gratitude to them for the joy and confidence these things have brought to my life. And I feel it's a sort of legacy that I want to pass on because I remember them. Many of them have passed on now, and I remember them every time I pick up my needle and thread or my hook and thread or yarn. And so I feel this intense passion for sharing their stories and others, and for sharing these skills with other people. And I'm always looking for opportunities, especially with kids. It's really fun to teach kids, but anyone that's willing to learn, so that I want to how do I say, it's like having something that's really great, knowing something really great, and just wanting everyone else to know about it and to have it too, because it's been such a positive thing in your life. And that's, yeah. So, other stuff. I am a singer and a music teacher. I recently graduated with my master's in voice performance and pedagogy, and I am currently searching for higher ed jobs, but in the meantime continue to keep a private studio. It's a good sized private studio, actually. I have about 25 students, so they keep me busy. And right now the big thing is working on entrance auditions for programs and college. And actually one of my students she's really on a roll. She's got accepted like everywhere. I'm very proud of her. very proud of all of my students. Anyhow, so, and as I said before, I'm a history buff. I'm really into, I love to share stories of people that you might never know about, you know, and pass those things on. So that will probably creep up in the tea time section of our podcast in the middle. I'm also a huge tea connoisseur. I blend my own teas. I'm a big proponent of organic tea because pretty much everything else you're just having a nice stew cup of pesticides. So I'll probably go on a rant about that sometime, but I will definitely bring some of my tea blends on for you all to hear about and see, and maybe even might make them available for purchase if you guys are interested at some point. And actually today I am enjoying, we're not going to have tea time today because it's my first podcast, and it's probably going to be a little longer, I don't know, and it's a get to know you kind of thing. But I am going to go over the other parts of basically the format for this is going to be intro, chat, and then I will have a works in progress whips. I love it. Oh, I keep like a little journal of all these little, you know, this other language that is the knitting world. At first I was quite bewildered by it, I must admit. It was really, I was just like, why can't you just use words? I don't know what you're saying. And then I figured it out. So I'll show you my little journal in a minute. Yarn that I've purchased, notions, patterns, etc., events, things like that. I have a really great friend from my childhood who is now she's been in the yarn world for a long time, and I had known that, but at the time that I first became aware of it, I wasn't really into I didn't really know very much about hand spun and hand dyed and things like that. I just always bought that like crappy acrylic. Sorry, Paton. Sorry, Red Heart. Your stuff is crappy though. Like cuts my fingers now. I've been spoiled. Anyhow, and I, you know, she's kind of the way that I came to know about this world of hand dyeing. I feel like so dumb now. Like I can't believe that this was like a total like oblivious, like I was totally oblivious to all of this for so long. But now I'm obsessed with it. She's from Cozy Colorworks. It used to be Cozy Rabbit Yarns, I think, or something like that. She has wonderful, very vibrant, cheerful colors, and she does like hand, and she will do special orders for me and stuff. She's fabulous. And she also got me into these fiber events. Like that's how I found out there's these wonderful things where like all these sheep and rabbits are running around, which is like the best thing ever because I love sheep and rabbits. I grew up with rabbits. I grew up with goats as well. I had two pet goats and a ton of rabbits. We used to like, well, not a ton, but we used to breed rabbits for a little while. And so it's like the happiest place ever. And then there's yarn and it's dyed and there's all these cool things and like, oh, it's so great. So she kind of got me into that too. So if I'm going to any of those events, I've only been to one so far. That was specifically just a fiber festival in my state. And I did want to get to Vogue Knitting Live this coming weekend, but it just didn't come to be. I wanted to go last year too, eventually, but she's going to be there. So shout out to Cozy Colorworks. So the first thing will be quick intro, works in progress. Then probably the middle section is going to be like tea time and chat and stories and things like that. And, oh, that rhymed, how cute. And such. And then I was thinking I would end in finished objects, FOs, which always makes me think of UFOs, which are totally different. And probably like a little like, and this is what you can expect next time. Perhaps, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It will probably morph and develop like as I get better at this. I'm new. Be patient. So let's get down to business. In my handy dandy little Songbird book. I really like birds, in case you didn't catch that. It was always my nickname too, you know, the whole singing thing. Yeah. So, I'm going to start from most recent cast-ons and move backwards. And I actually have so many less finished objects. Maybe I will just tack on the finished object at the end because it just seems like too much work. to like, are like too frustrating to like stop chat and then be like, here's a finished object. And we'll see. I just gave them like all away. Maybe I'll post pictures. I made a whole bunch of socks. Well, it felt like a whole bunch, but really it was only 3 pairs, but you know, it's 6 socks. So, for Christmas. And also I sold some bears and stuffed things, but I still have some to show you. But yeah, so let's start with most recent cast-ons, which I have in my wonderful, adorable bag. And I was hoping that I was going to have, I bought stitch markers to go along with this that are like adorbs. Ah! I can't wait to get them. And I will have to bring this out again, obviously, because you're going to want to see the continuation of what's inside. But once I get my little stitch markers, I go, because it's just too cute. So, what is inside? So this was my New Year's Eve cast on, and it is, check the notes. Sylvia McFadden's Waiting for Rain, which those of you who are on Ravelry will know that it was featured, I think, at the end of, it was like at the end of the year, because they were saying like the most popular patterns and things like that. And when I saw it, I about like hit the floor. I mean, I bought it instantly. And I don't generally do that with patterns. Because I'm like, I love supporting people that write patterns. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I want to know for sure that I'm really gonna make the thing, because I bought some patterns and like I never made them, or I probably will at some point, but I haven't. But this is like, was in my dreams. Like okay, that sounds, but seriously, this is exactly, I've been trying to design some of my own patterns, and this is exactly what I wanted when I was designing this shawl that I'm working on, that I will show you all when it gets further along, and you guys can see, you know, tell me, give me advice about pattern writing, because I'm new to it. And I've actually made not several things, but a couple things, but actually writing it as a pattern is a real pain. So I just love this so much, because in my head I wanted something where, this is like my vision, I'm like, I wanted like knitting that looked like you'd like torn it open and then there was lace. And I feel like, I just feel like this works with this, right? Like, doesn't it sort of look like you're just like, all of a sudden you're just like, and there's like this beautiful lace. Maybe that's just my own imagination. But the funny thing is that this yarn, which is Knit Picks, I have a lot of Knit Picks stuff right now. I only discovered Knit Picks like in November, and I went a little nuts. Not gonna lie, because before that I've been using Love Knitting, and I wish I could say that I loved Love Knitting, because I like a lot of their stuff, but we didn't have a very good, we just had some issues, Love Knitting and I, and so Knit Picks has won my heart. So this yarn is the Chroma Fingering, and the purpley gradient is called Avalon. And the gray is just gray, so original, right? So I actually had bought this back in November, this yarn, and with no purpose in mind, other than that it was on sale, and I wanted to get $50 in my cart, so I wouldn't have to pay for shipping, and I really liked these colors. I thought they were, I felt like it was, because I didn't know what I was going to do, I felt like this was a good option, because they go together pretty well, and the purple actually has some darker purple that's like a grayish color in it, so I felt like can't go wrong, right? So the minute I saw this pattern for Waiting for Rain, I'm like, that yarn would be perfect, because I want this like that it's like torn and the lace is just coming forth out of the colors, and so it was just like meant to be. So I immediately bought it, cast it on. I like got so much done the first day on New Year's Eve, and so it's been since New Year's Eve, and I am I'm currently working on the 3rd patch of lace. Is that the front side? Yeah, that's the front side. And I just have to say, okay, so the lace pattern is a little fiddly, I would say. Not really, but I am newer again to this and to lace and such. And I guess because it's of the short rows, it is a little challenging to like keep your pattern visually. Like I'm, like I have to just go back and check, and I've had to thankfully caught like some boo-boos and things to fix them. And it's not perfect everywhere, but I'm getting better as I'm going. But in terms of like the garter stitch portion, it's so nice because I didn't even have to have a pattern with me. I could take it with me anywhere. I'm like driving in the car. Where was I? I was like knitting away at it just recently, waiting for my students to come when they're late, because that happens frequently, or they forget and things, they don't show up, so I knit. And normally, like, by the time I get my pattern out, I have that little like app on my phone. I'll talk about it sometime, maybe in the next podcast, because I didn't write it in my notes for right now, but I have a little app on my phone for pattern viewing and like keeping track and stuff. By the time I pull it all up, a lot of times they end up showing up, but this I could just like pull it out and get a couple stitches done and not be worried about counting or missing my, so it's just I'm planning to make it again. I say that every time I make something. So like, I love this, well, no, not everything, but I think I will actually do it again, because it's such an enjoyable shawl to be knitting, and you can play around with it. She has this like wonderful hacking pattern to like add your own things. And my stitch markers are these cute little sheep that actually go with, I've grouped them with my other project bag. I will show you in a minute, but since I didn't get my stitch markers for this project bag, I had to use these. And these are for from Winemaker Sisters on Etsy, and I love their stitch markers because they use this solid piece for the part, for the actual part that hooks on, and it doesn't snag, and it's so easy to just use, and plus they're super cute. And my first purchase from her was a little bit of a catastrophe because one of the stitch markers had fallen out and she didn't realize it, and also there was like some other issue, and she was just so great about getting everything fixed, and she took care of it, and she was just really, really kind about it. So I purchased from her frequently because in fact, the ones that are coming for this bag are half of them are from her, and there's half of them are from someone else, and I'll talk about them when they get here. So that's my most recent cast on working project. That was a little bit of a scary face. Sorry about that. Okay, so next, and this is in my bag that I got, again from Knit Picks. That other bag was also from Knit Picks. This is a Christmas present. I mean, come on, it's so cute. I just love it. And that's the stitch markers little sheep go with this because the colors are similar. And I also have this cute, so I keep like, notions and things. Oh, something else that I recently purchased. It's really fun. They are needle minders. This one's a Jemima Petal Duck. And this one I think is Mocha. I think that's her name. Little mouse. And I also have a Peter Rabbit one. I forgot to write that name down as well. But they're from Etsy, and maybe it's on this package. Is it on this package? So I didn't even open these yet because I thought they looked so pretty inside of the little waxy wrapper. So these are from Cottage Needle. Yeah, Cottage Needles. Or Needles. Yeah, she's on Etsy. So I like them to hold on to my, darning needles for weaving back in. I'm not really sure why I needed 3 of them, but I do have 3 project bags, so 1 for each project bag, right? It's justifiable. Okay, so this is Jenny Penny's Ellie sock. Isn't this beautiful? I just love this design. It's so beautiful. And it's a Knit Picks Fingering Gloss Cranberry and a Bear. And I'm using Knitter's Pride needles, which are like my go-to needles. I love Knitter's Pride. Again, the little really cute little lammy stitch markers. I will say though, I'm so sorry, Jenny. And I think maybe it's a language thing. I'm not sure, because she's, I believe, Swedish, which is super cool. And you can see I don't know, I feel like this looks Swedish. What do I know? I don't know, maybe it doesn't, but to me it does. But the pattern just wasn't working for me at all. And again, this could be because, again, I'm not a super veteran knitter, but it just was not working. And so what I ended up doing is I've knitted several socks previously, and from Drops Garden Studios, Drops patterns. So I kind of used that to get where I'm at, because like, just even the cuff, like a simple cuff, it was not what I was trying to follow the directions, and it just wasn't working. So, and I'm sure I could have messaged her and she would have helped me out with it and stuff, but I just rather like figure things out myself. So I changed the heel then as well. But I'm really, really pleased with how it looks, and I'm super excited to continue with it. It's super, I mean, it's just so, the pattern's just so beautiful, and it's been really fun to knit. I actually did a lot of it on the train to New York. That's what I was knitting. That's it. Because we went to New York after the holidays, and it was really enjoyable to have with me for that, because it's like an hour train, so it's like worth it. You can actually pull out the pattern and like I was saying before, students coming. So really love this, and I only have this one so far. It's very time consuming. And then my other work in process, actually I have one completed. It is, and it hasn't been blocked. Like I said, new to this blocking thing. I don't actually have a sock blocker. I need to get one. It was on my wish list for Christmas, but nobody got it for me. Anyhow, this is the Spool Cotton Company's pattern for a spiral sock, and it's a pattern from the 1940s in Knit for Victory, I believe was the name of the particular pattern book. And again, history, and my dad is a big history person as well, so I actually hope he doesn't watch this, but I actually, this is going to be for him eventually. So as you can see, again, it's not blocked, but it's a knit purl pattern that creates this really cool spiral, and it's a tube sock, but really cute and super comfy, and you know, just I think what I like about it too is the fact that it doesn't really need to be sized per se. So I have that one done, and then I have like basically the cuff. Again, Knitter's Pride. I bought that knitting sock bundle from them, and the yarn is just Paton's North America Classic Wool Worsted, actually, and the color is a dark green marl. I also bought some other colors because I'm thinking I'm also going to make some for my father-in-law. I think these will be Father's Day presents since they didn't get done in time for Christmas. But I was thinking it would be cool to do, I have a light gray and a dark gray. I thought it'd be cool to do like all the pearls in dark gray and all the knits in light gray or vice versa, and create sort of a pattern in the spiral so you notice it more, because like especially with this yarn you can't really see it because of the marl, but when it's on you can see it more. So that was kind of what I was thinking with that. So yes, darling little bit. I get so excited about these bags. I know it's ridiculous, right? But seriously, it's so fun. Okay. Next work in project process is I guess would be this I started a while ago, and this is one of my patterns that I've been writing for a little bear. His name's Colby Jack. So as you can see, he's still missing some body parts, but he's super cute. Isn't he super cute? Oh my gosh, I love him. So cute. So I'm working on bear patterns, and I guess while I'm here I'll just do finished objects as well. And so another finished object that I have is I finished over the holidays is this little bear. His name is Sven. He's my prototype. Actually sold one identical to him already, and also another bear called Emir. He's an Icelandic wool. It's just like 100% wool. It's not very soft, but it has that nice little light halo, I guess, to it to make him snuggly looking. And I just love him so much. And he's a string jointed bear. And again, my pattern, I haven't published it. I'm not sure that, I don't know what I want to do yet. And this guy's a mohair. It's actually a bulky, believe it or not, because it's like a looped, it has like loops in it. So, but I did him on a 2.75 millimeters needle, I think, something like that. So pretty tight stitches with thicker fabric. So like the inside is all like curls from the yarn, but it worked out. So those are two finished projects I have right now. And then, oh, let me go grab I finished this actually in September. But again, I gave away most of my most recent finished objects. So this is the only one that I like really have still. It's my first shawl, so I want to show it to you. So, okay, so this is Eiffel Gold from, oh, that's backwards, by Melanie Berg, and it is so beautiful. And I did it in, I never blocked this either. I finished it actually on our anniversary trip. We were in Quebec, and I finished it on the way up to there and wore it the whole time, and it was totally fine because it's actually, I get the yarn is it's the Ella Row Lace Merino and DK weight, and this is called Charcoal. And then the yellow, I don't honestly know what it's called because the label doesn't say. Yellow? I don't know. But so I started stitching it for our anniversary and finished it on the way up there, and it was very nice to have for the trip. I think it would be bigger if I blocked it, but I just never got around to it. And I really love it. It has these wonderful mosaic stitch that's actually fairly easy to do. This is my first mosaic project. It was my first shawl, and I found it to be really easy. Again, with the garter stitch, it was more complicated than this waiting for rain in terms of because you had to count and keep track and such. But yeah, so really loved it. Really enjoyed knitting it. I also just bought her to Rhinelust or Rheingold. I can't remember now. Pattern. I haven't started that yet. I haven't found a yarn that I wanted to use for that yet. But yeah, really pleased with this. Wanted to show it off. So yeah, and then so I guess let's talk about other stuff I purchased. Yarns and things. So I went a little nutty. Yeah. So first off, these are some of my most recent. This is just the Paton stuff for those spiral socks. And then I have, this is actually, again, the Chroma yarn from Knit Picks in Sandpiper. This is worsted weight, and it's going to be a hat, which I actually cast it on and did quite all the whole ribbing, and then realized that I had twisted my yarns. I had to take the whole thing out. But hey, you know, it's never actually happened to me before, surprisingly. And I tried so hard to make sure that it didn't. I don't know how it happened. So yeah, and then I have this beautiful, it's cashmere mainly. It has, I think it might have some wool. It's like a cobweb. So it's like 60 wraps per inch. Something ridiculous. So I've tried to swatch it several times. I obviously want to make a lace shawl out of it. I'm going to try to design it myself. I actually kind of like it better when I put the two strands together. It gives a little bit more thickness. I'm not sure what I want to do. So I haven't really done much of anything with it for that reason. This is my new, isn't this so cute? It's, I'll put in the show notes the name of it and the company, but this is my needle sizer, because some of my wooden needles, the size is like rubbing off over time from use. So I got this, and it wasn't actually my favorite like design. I mean, I think it's really cute and retro, and I love it. I really do, but it wasn't my absolute favorite one ever. But it was the only one that I could find that had all these like half sizes and went so tiny, and so large. So I really thought it was the most thorough in terms of sizing, and also the one that I liked the most of the ones with all these sizings on it. So, yeah, I'll include the name in the show notes or list below. Yeah. So that's for this basket. This is something actually that I purchased a really long time ago now. Well, okay, it wasn't really a long time ago, but I love it so much, and I wanted to talk about it. It's my like case for my needles and such. I got it on Amazon, and it took a really long time to get here, but I love it because it has for the straight needles, and then it has this pouch, which is where I keep all my crochet hooks, and also a picture of my family. I don't know why, because I love my family. And then another pouch with, I have like my scissors and tape measures and like little my thimble and like other little random stuff. And then it has this whole section for circular needles, which is just so perfect. Oh, and this is my little book, my little moleskin where I keep all my, it's like an address book, and I keep all the like terminology that I don't know. I keep writing it down in there so I can like have reference. But yeah, so love this. You look it up on Amazon, and again, I can include the name in the notes because I couldn't find it initially in my purchase log because I do a lot of shopping on Amazon. I don't like to go out in public. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I'll put that if you're interested. But I love it because it's so portable too. It has like this little handle thing so you like wrap around your wrist, and I just love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. Oh, next yarns, more yarns. So I actually got this crate recently, and I'm planning to hang it on the wall to store all my yarns in it because I don't have a ton, but I have a good amount. So these are non-yarn purchases, but I got some shawl picks from, yet again, Knit Picks. This one's the scroll shawl stick, and this is the Knitsellanius. They're both Knitsellanius. I think that's how you say it. And this is the medium beaded one. They're beautiful. Okay, most recent yarn purchase. Again, Knit Picks. This is the a fingering weight hawthorn. This is a dye speckle. And I am going to pair this, I think. I would love suggestions. But I think I purchased this also from Knit Picks, and it's the fingering weight. Again, this is the stroll, and it's koi pond hand painted. So I think I'm actually going to put these two together. Thoughts? I also have, again, Knit Picks. I like Knit Picks, guys. Jupiter Speckle, which I actually thought would be the one that I would put with it. I might do all three of them. I don't know. What do you think? Tie-dye and koi, or Jupiter and koi, or all three? Give me your thoughts. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with it yet. If I'm going to do socks or... I mean, it's enough to make a shawl, probably, but I don't know. It'll come to me. And then something I had purchased a while ago, again, is this. It's called Happy Valley, and it's in the hawthorn fingering. I love this colors. I just love them. So I bought 3 of them. We'll see what comes of it. But yeah, I do have some more stuff coming and some more things in my stash we can talk about another time. But I feel like we went over a lot today. And yeah. So like I said, I'm not going to have the little chatty history portion right now. This is half an hour. Half an hour is like with editing, it should be half an hour. Was kind of like what I was hoping to like be my cutoff. I will say, did I say? I don't think I said. I'm actually drinking right now some, I think I mentioned, I like to blend my own teas, a huge proponent of organic tea. I try really hard not to drink tea that isn't organic because it's basically like having a cup of hot pesticides because most companies don't wash their tea leaves, which is just terrible. So I purchased my own organic tea leaves and blend myself. Earl Grey is my favorite, in case you're wondering. So that will probably show up on here occasionally, and we can chat about tea because I know knitters and just fiber artists in general seem to be pretty fond of tea. But I'm also a huge coffee drinker. Love coffee, and my husband roasts his own coffee at home. He purchases green beans from like all over the world and does all different roasting levels with them. I love French roast. He actually likes his a little bit lighter, so occasionally I get that too. But today I am drinking his first cold brew with his new toddy, which is a cold brew thing. It's basically just this cute little glass jug with a big plastic sort of vat over top of it. So cold brew, if you don't know anything about it, it's kind of a long process. It takes a lot of coffee grounds, and it has to sit for like 12 hours. It can sit longer, but that's what he likes to do, the 12 hours. And it makes sort of this concentrate, and you could just drink it straight. It's a little bit too strong for me, straight, but it's really fun in the sense of that it's versatile, so you can keep the concentrate, and then just like what he did this morning was he boiled some water and added it, and that's what I'm drinking right now. It's really smooth. It's less acidic. It's sweeter in general. At least I can drink it without sweetening, added sweetener. The flavor complexes are a bit lighter. I wouldn't say necessarily brighter. It's just everything's a little bit more muted and a little bit more, it's more towards the tea end than I think like espresso end. But it's really lovely. It's more refreshing to me also, cold or hot, but especially cold. And it's cool too in the summer because because it's a cold base, it makes it easier to make your cold beverages. You make ice cubes with it and then just pop it into your, milk and such. So yeah, really fun. I'm not sure what these are. This might be Ethiopia. I'm a big fan of Ethiopian and Java and Mocha. Those are my 3 favorite beans that he does right now. But yeah, so it's super, super yummy. If you are into coffee, and also we did this as a New Orleans style, which means it has added ground chicory in it. And chicory is a root. Here's the history part of our day. It actually used to be a coffee substitute or blended into coffee to make it more affordable or sometimes mischievously to garner more profits for the salesman. But it by itself has a coffee-esque taste. It's sweeter and a bit smokier, not smokier, but like toastier, I guess I would say. It makes me think of a cigar somehow. I know it sounds random, but like a sweet cigar is what it reminds me of. And added to coffee, it really brings this wonderful dimension to the flavor. It's my go-to. There's a really cute little coffee place there's several of them in our area, called Rook. And I honestly don't, they're really good, but I can't say that I adore their coffee because I'm spoiled and my husband does all this stuff at home. But their New Orleans, I consume large quantities of that in the cold brew in the summer. So now Tim's making it at home. So I'm pretty excited about that because it's just really pleasant. And I highly recommend, if you guys are interested and you want to know more about this at some point, we could, maybe do a little bit about it on a podcast in the future. Again, this podcast, although I know I've called it Songbird Knits because it's like my main obsession and the main thing that's propelling me to make this podcast at this point. I am just a lover of handcrafted, handmade goods, things made at home, things made involving people's time and expertise and just focus. That's really I appreciate it so much. And so that's kind of, another aspect of it. So we could totally talk about coffees and teas sometime. Leave me some comments so that I know it's what you want to hear. And yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up for today. We'll see how long it takes me to edit this. I think I'm going to have to do a couple before I can say for sure when I'll be posting again and such. But I will be posting again at some point, and it will follow again this format, just a little intro, less chatting about me, obviously, because now you know. And I'm going to try to keep them around 30 minutes. And just, I'll keep sharing stuff I'm doing. I hope you all will share with me. If I get some really cool, stories or pictures of projects that you're working on or comments about topics I'm talking about, I will most certainly share them in the next podcast. I'll hopefully have my website. I have my domain name, but I'm working on the website up at some point because I'm also working on some of my own patterns, like I'd said, and hopefully we'll have some cool things like that to share with you all. And I want you to be able to, they'll be posted on Ravelry, but to have more info about them on my website, and then that will probably be the place where I'll ask you to send questions as well as like your letters and project photos and such. So stick with me. I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad that you came to visit with me today on this podcast, and I look forward to many more and to getting to know you all better. And until then, happy crafting. Okay, bye.